Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Big Board Battles. Today we have a very special game for you. Undying Dynasties versus Orcs and Goblins. 5,000 points of mayhem. One of us will survive and the other will be crushed. Find out who it is by watching. It's been a while since I posted one of these. I just been pretty busy between work and some other things I have going on. But I haven't abandoned you, dear loyal viewer. And so today, this is a pretty good game. I'm not going to lie. It comes down to the wire. It's a lot of back and forth. A lot harder than I thought it would be, just looking at the table. But a combination of good rolls on my opponent's part, plus bad rolls on my part, plus just bad decisions all around made it a fun game. So without further ado, let's get in on it. I forgot to get a deployment picture beforehand, but I deployed first, and this is what it looks like. And I took first turn, and I moved some stuff up. I'm bringing a slightly different list than I usually bring today. I have 2 units of chariots. One of them is off behind that Skull Mountain thing you see. It just zoomed up to take that part of the board. I have 2 Snake Surfer units, Tomb Cataphracts. I got a unit of 5 Horse Archers, 2 units of 20 Skeleton Archers, both with musicians, 2 units of Vultures, because they're the primo chaff of the Undying Dynasty things. I have my unit of 6 Shopties, kind of in the forest there. Double kitties, just facing front and center, and my Colossus with the Scales of Destiny moving up to mulch infantry and cause pain. My Casket's hiding in the forest, and yeah, that's my list. I have the bare minimum magic, because magic's kind of worthless. My enemy took no magic because magic's kind of worthless. He took the tomb and the crown of scorn and the banner, of +2 to dispel. Aegis Aether banner, that's what it's called. His is a list I have fought before, but it's toned up a little different. As you can see, Gorebeast betrayed me and joined the trolls. As he wanted to get on the battlefield himself from the get-go and, do some damage. He has 2 units of Mangler Squigs. He has 3 Scrap Wagons. One's a little bit off-screen, you can't see it. 2 units of Iron Orcs, 20 each. 1 with a BSB, 1 with a General, and they're both flanking his unit of 6 strong Trolls. He has 2 units of 20 Goblins. 1 is Cave Goblins with some Mad Gits in it, and the other is Forest Goblins. He has a Giant, and he has 2 units of 10 strong Boar Boys coming up the side there, behind the little Buddha shrine there. Yeah, it looks like a pretty fun list to fight. We rolled scenarios, and we chose the Capture the Flags one, where you choose 3 of the enemy's scoring units that you wish to capture at the end of the game. I chose his 2 Goblin units and his unit of Iron Orcs with his General in it, because they were facing my kitties, and I knew that that was going to be a matchup that he wanted, and I wanted, so let the dice fall where they may. He chose both my units of Skeleton Archers and my Snakes over kind of guarding my flank there. Again, because he knows he's going to want in on those guys, and I probably will not try to avoid combat with my Snakes. So he has a better chance of catching them. So this is what it looks like. Bottom of one, he runs forward. He his Mangler Squigs go forward as much as they can. His those 2 little spiders there, that's his Cave Goblin, or not Cave Goblin, I'm sorry, Forest Goblin Chief or whatever, with a Huntsman Spider, the 50 by 50 base. The scrap wagons do their scrappy things, and he kind of traffic jams himself up with the boar boys and the Nasher Dashers. He has 2 units of 6 Nasher Dashers, by the way. I don't know if I forgot to mention that. His giant kind of walks on up, and this is how the board looks. One of his Mangler Squigs bit the dust because it rolled triples, and that's a huge sigh of relief for me because I don't think I had enough oomph to deal with both of those things without hopping some of my chaff on it. And my chaff has better uses than to hop on Mangler Squigs. Yes, I mean, if I have to, I will, but it's not my preferred method of dealing with these guys. So top 2. I realize that, yeah, I'm going to probably lose these snakes, but I don't want that stubborn giant running around. And hopefully, if I get lucky and do enough wounds on the giant, I can just overrun, get that unit of goblins. Yeah, he'll charge my flank, but if I can hold for a turn, my 2 kitties will charge his flank, and I'm confident in the result of that. His trolls were stupid. Thank you, Gorebeast, for whispering sweet nothings into their ear and convincing them not to go full forward. He got a leadership 9 reroll, but he failed both times, so oh well. I do charge with my chariots into his Nasher Dashers because, again, I'm going to plow through these guys. I'm going to pop into his, what's it called? His scrap wagon. And, again, hopefully he'll use his boar boys to deal with that, further bringing them out of the main combat blocks that are kind of going up there. I charge with my Colossus into the Huntsman Spider because I forgot that the Huntsman Spider, I guess, makes the guy on top poisonous. I think that's how it works. Either way, the guy on top had poison, and I didn't know that when I charged in. I might not have charged. I might have anyway, but I might not have had I known that. But I should ask, And there's a better picture of that charge. I'm hoping, again, I'm very confident going in, like, yeah, kill this guy, break him at least, overrun, hit his goblins. The fanatics will come, but whatever, I can deal with them. I take a couple wounds, get into those goblins, start munching. That's my goal. Goblins, again, the snakes hit the giant, and that's a picture of my chariots running into those Nasher Dashers. And again, I'm happy. I know I'm going to lose these chariots, but I'm going to tie up a whole lot of points over here. So that's good. His other Mangler Squig during the shooting phase gets pin-cushioned to death by a combination of archers, and horse archers, and chariot archers, and just a lot of archers. And I managed to do enough wounds, pop them. And I do touch the heart as well on the Mangler Squig to do a wound, so yay, bound spells. Combat doesn't go well. He has an obsidian blade, which means I get no armor save. And again, poison on the top, poison on the bottom, poisons all around. I take 2 wounds for my trouble. I'm only able to squeeze 1 wound through because he's a 2-up, 5-up. And we sit. I charged. It's a draw. Oof. Don't know what to do about that. Oh, the giant goes even worse. I do 2 wounds out of all my attacks. 2 wounds. And he only does that headbutt thing where he just pops one of my guys in the head and he can't really attack next turn. But I know these guys are lost now because, again, the giant's stubborn. He stays, no problem. And I didn't break him. So, yeah, it's going to be a bad day. Yeah, this goes as expected, however, and I just mulch through his Nasher Dashers and bloop right into that scrap wagon. So I tilt as much as I can, then he has to tilt to me, and yeah, that's where we end up. So bottom of 2, he does some charges. As you can see, his boar boy is charging the side of my chariots. His other scrap wagon comes in for the fun. And again, I know these guys are dead, but I'm happy. I've blocked basically that whole side of the board for 2 turns with these chariots. And who knows, maybe I'll tag the scrap wagon, and it'll be points even exchange as well for me. My kitties move up, my chaff moves up, so they can get in better position. I'm sorry, that's what happened last turn. His Mangler Squigs pop out, or not Mangler, Mad Gits pop out. Don't do anything. Yeah. So that's what happens. His trolls come forward. His other Iron Orcs kind of hang back. His Goblins actually turn. They don't have a musician or anything. They turn around because they want out of here. He realizes it's a scoring unit that I have chosen, and he wants nothing to do with any of those things that I have coming up the side there. Oh, yeah, we had pizza. It's okay. We're fatties. Okay. So here is better picture of this charge, and this is not going to go well for me. Better picture of his Nasher Dashers charging into the side of my Colossus, and again, not going to go well for me. With static res alone, it's going to be pretty brutal. And again, a better picture of that charge as well. Oh, and his other scrap wagon hits my horse archers to add insult to injury. So, yay. Well, the horse, he rolls snake eyes for his impact hits, fails to wound with 1. I do a wound. It's 1 wound. He's got a charge, so I crumble by 1. Boom. This is what it looks like. Go, horsies, go. Way better than expected. I was expecting, I should say, to have him break through. He would overrun a bit. Maybe he'd hit my snakes. Maybe he wouldn't. And either way, my snakes would deal with him next turn. But, hey, I don't need to do that anymore, so that's cool. Not so cool is what happens to my giant. His impact hits plus his strength 5 attacks go through this guy like butter, and he bites the dust. And it's a sad, sad day because I really like this model. It's a nice model, Hierophant. So, not Hierophant, but Colossus or whatever. Sad day. And yeah, the Reaper comes for my snakes there. I do kill the giant though. He decides to go Great Weapons due to my armor save being a 3-up on those things. And I'm able to get my attacks in first against the giant, or at the same time, I should say, as a giant. And yeah, now I decide to do those last 4 wounds. So that's good. And my impact hits do next to nothing. I guess I flub on my impact hits against his scrap wagon up there. And again, the Reaper comes for my poor chariots. But they did their job. They did exactly what I needed to do. I'm proud with how that went. Because again, he's held up. He's just not. That's 2 turns where they were not a factor. So top of 3, this is what the board looks like. I'm holding my little half of the board here pretty well. I'm charging in what I need to charge in. I charge in with my my chariots on his Nasher Dashers, which reformed to face them. My snakes move up. I double charge with my kitties against that block of Iron Orcs, which had reformed after their combat to face me. And my vultures get up because this is their time to shine. I did, however, fail a charge. I was trying to get both Sphinxes and the Shopti in there. They could fit. And the Shoptis needed a 7. They failed it. So it's up to my Sphinxes. Hopefully they're able to do the job. I don't know. We'll find out. There's a better picture of that charge. So I'm happy about that. I'm going to wipe through these guys. Impact hits on the Goblin Chief on the Huntsman Spider. And I'm not sure where the heck those Mad Gits are going to go, but hopefully not into any of my chaff and not into me. So we'll see. Oh, and of course, magic. I try to get off a spell, or I do get off a spell because it is miscast. I get off Spectral Blades on one of my kitties because the guys on top have Lethal Strike, and I want them to reroll their wounds. To do that, I, of course, roll double 6s, and I miscast, and kablooey! I've done more damage with magic to me than I have to my enemy. And that's how Magic goes now, guys. But my kitties, oh my goodness, these guys wrecked face. Now, I rolled really well. I didn't even need those rerolls for the Spectral Blade. I wounded with every single one of my my hits that I hit with these guys. I didn't hit with all of them, but I hit with enough. I let go with my breath weapons. Again, he went great weapons because he's strength 7 on the first round of combat. It's going to really threaten my kitties here. His general does a wound, and I think he has 4 left before my stomps go through, and he does another wound to the other kitty. But my stomps just clear him out. Just straight up delete his unit, and all that's left is his general, which I pursue with both, and I catch and I kill, and the kitties have fun mauling and playing with the corpse. The Sphinxes are a force to be reckoned with. They just plowed through that unit like it wasn't there, and they were amazing. Bottom of 3. A couple of interesting plays on my opponent's part. He runs up as fast as he can with his scrap wagons, his boar boys, because they need to get in combat yesterday. He charges in to both of my chaff units because he needs to get them out of the way. He runs away with his goblins as fast as he can, and his cave goblins, I should say, and the most interesting choice I think he made this turn was charging his forest goblins in to the side of my Sphinx. Now, he said they were poisons, and I was like, ooh, that could hurt. But he's poisons, and I have a 4-up armor save. And it's still 6s that he needs to roll, and I still got 4 wounds left on this thing. I don't know. That's a scoring unit right there. If I break him and I run him down, it's one of those 3. They got the counters on them to show you which ones got picked. That's part of the objective, and that's a good deal for me. So cool. I wasn't too scared about this. I was a little nervous because of the poison, but not that nervous. Better picture those charges. And the Mad Gets. One of them runs into his Iron Orcs, and then I think hits something it shouldn't, like a hill or a piece of terrain. I forget what. But no, I'm sorry. I shot it off the table last turn is what happened because it was too close to me. Now his other ended up right by this chariot group here. And that's important for later. But that's where it ended up. He eats my vultures alive both times. And he overruns with his trolls, makes it, and boom, he's face to face with my Shopty there. This combat, he did a wound, but I did 10. So I'm like, okay, whatever. He's steadfast. He stays. There you are. I have 3 wounds left. I'm not scared anymore. Okay, and then we go into top of 4, and I charge in with a couple things, and I charge in to the side of his spider with my horse archers. Again, my impact hits didn't do enough. I think they got 1 wound through, and he killed one of my guys, and they're stuck there doing their thing. And so I figured either he can try to do the rest of the wounds on my chariots, and he needs to do 5, or he can turn his attacks to the side and get rid of my horse archers, but my chariots will still have their full attacks. All I need to do is sneak 1 wound through, and I think I can. So I might lose those horse archers, but again, I really want to get rid of this guy. This guy's been annoying me the whole game. Okay. And here we are, a better picture of that. And yeah, during my magic phase, and this is where this happens during my magic phase. Originally we forgot and we thought it was the combat phase already. So I was like, yay, and I overran with my my little horse archer there, and he connected with those iron orcs, stuck them in combat, and I was like, heck yes, my shopty get 2 free rounds to go against these trolls all by their lonesome, and my kitty's looking at these iron orcs, and a kitty into the back of the iron orcs would be a godsend right now for me. And then the chariots could get in, all sorts of shenanigans could ensue. But okay, here's what happened. Like, I decided to cast Evocation of Souls, which raises the chariot unit because it heals 4 wounds. I couldn't fit it where it was. I could not fit it in to anywhere legal for it to go, except for right on the Mad Git. Now, I don't know if that means the spell doesn't go off, or the Mad Git pops and we all take wounds. We weren't sure how to play it, and so instead of just sit there for like 20 minutes arguing, we decided, well, we'll just have it pop it and have it do damage like it normally does when it runs into a combat. So it killed his chief. It did a couple wounds here and there to my guys. The chariot that got raised promptly went away. And yeah, so but because it happened in the magic phase, I couldn't overrun, and that was, I mean, I'm glad the king is dead, the chief is dead, but I really wanted to overrun into the side of those iron orcs. I got so excited when it happened and I made my overrun. I was like, heck yeah. But I was quickly disappointed, as much happens in life. This battle goes exactly like you see it. I do 3 wounds, he does 3 wounds. We both have, he has a charge, I have a banner. Gorebeast, keeps it to a draw. He wants to see the battle drawn out, if you will, and he likes the combat, so he's trying to keep it going as long as he can. Okay, and I don't know, guys. Like, he decided to roll all his 6s for the poison and the wounds, and I just failed every damn save that I possibly could, and he pops my kitty. And I didn't do a single wound, so he's sitting there with 10 of them, just goblins, just happy as a clam, and I just don't know what else I could have done. That was heartbreaking. I lost one of my kitties, and it's so sad. So, here we go. He turns his cave goblins. Oh, good news. He does try to charge with his boar boys into my skeleton bunker, which the previous turn I had moved out my Hierophant from to put in the other archer group. But he fails. And so I'm like, heck yeah, another round of shooting at this guy. His scrap wagons run forward. His other boar boys are kind of bringing up the rear, doing nothing. His iron orcs charged the flank of my shopties, and that's going to be sad. Yeah, and his forest goblins decide not to charge into the flank of my other shopty because they feel they pushed their luck a little too much right now, so they're just kind of hanging back. Better picture that charge. Oh, combat. It goes about as you can expect. My shopty get decimated, but not by that much. Most of the wounds come from crumbles. So, I mean, I made a lot of regen saves. So, well for me. I'm not going to complain. And top of 5. So, it's getting down to the wire. I know I have one of his... On objectives right now, we're tied. I've captured one of his flags, and he's captured one of my flags. The scoring units, if you will. And I want to try to get his cave goblins. I want to destroy them. So I charge with my kitty, and I charge with my chariots. And they both fail. They both just fail. And so I'm like, shit. I do charge in also with my Sphinx into the snakes, I should say, into the back of the Iron Orcs, and I'm, fairly confident about I'll at least tie him up there. I'm hoping my shopty can hold out, but I don't know. That's a lot of attacks that are going to be thrown against him. I popped both my general and my Hierophant out of that unit of skeleton archers because just in case he overruns with his trolls or just in case he just totally wipes me out there, he can charge in with his trolls, and I don't want to lose my Hierophant to that. So yeah. Okay, this combat goes, oof. It goes stunningly. I don't think I do any wounds to his trolls, but I just wreck his Iron Orcs, and I just kill a bunch of them. And he doesn't, I win the combat because of my rear charge and other things, and he breaks. His trolls break, but his Iron Orcs do not. So, cool beans. Or no, his trolls don't break this turn. It's next turn they break. So, on the bottom of 5, he fails again. He fails again with his charge on the boar boys into my skeleton bunker. So I'm like, heck yeah, I have a chance. Maybe these guys will survive. Yeah, he does charge with his cave goblins, forest goblins to make a sphinx sandwich up there, and that's fun. He tries to get in with his scrap wagon, but doesn't quite make it enough to get into the flank of my snakes. And his boar boys kind of just come up to help whoever they can. Better picture of that, and I'm worried. I have a wound on my Sphinx. I'm hoping I could just throw all my attacks to the rear and it will go well, but we'll see. It doesn't go well. I killed 5 units to the rear, and then he just... combat res alone obliterates me. And I crumble and I die. And that's the story of how these 2 Sphinxes killed his Orcish general and a whole unit of Iron Orcs, only to die to Goblins. Yes. Okay, this is the combat where I win. He kills my Shopti. I break his trolls. The Iron Orcs stay because they're stubborn. So, yeah. And he's testing on a 4 now with his trolls. Yeah, he can reroll, but still, it's on a 4 because his general's dead. So, we'll see. Top of 6. I charge my skeleton archers into his scrap wagon, and I'll tell you why. If scrap wagons don't get the charge, they're not scary. 1, not that my skeleton archers are scary, but if I can break him, he crumbles. And if I can overrun and touch those trolls because they're fleeing, he won't have a chance to rally them, and I'll just pop them, and they'll die. I do charge my chariots finally into those cave goblins because I want to kill the crap out of them. Oh, the things you did to my Sphinx, they're not okay. And yeah, and my horse archer, he doesn't want to give up some points, so he just kind of, he's still alive, but there's nothing really for him to chaff at this point. And so he just kind of hangs out. And here's a better picture of that charge. And here's a better picture of that charge. And I don't do any wounds. I do a wound, I think. Or maybe that wound was... either way, he stays. My casket does some work and kills a bunch of boar boys, finally. It took forever to get that casket to work, though. It just never... it always got dispelled because he had that +2 banner. And the one time I did get it through really well, he scrolled it. And I was finally able to sneak it through on those boar boys and make them leadership test. And they failed by a good margin, but they stuck. They passed their chance to stay, so that's not going to be good. And this goes poorly as well. And when all is said and done, I do not break them. He rallies with his trolls, so I don't get points for them. And he charges in with his scrap wagon. They eliminate my snakes, so both units of my snakes are gone. My chariots do well and kill those cave goblins, run and catch them. And so at the end of the game, no one has the objective. We're both tied with 2 each. And he wins on points. There's nothing I can do to stop it. Oof, it was a good game, though. It was a lot of back and forth. I thought I had it when I was able to keep his boar boys over there for 2 or 3 turns away from combat with the rest of my guys, and my 2 Sphinxes just rushing and killing his general and killing that Iron Orc block really had me feeling good about the game. And then those damn goblins come in and do their damn poison business and killing my kitties. It's not right. It's just not right. It's not how things should go. And yeah, some closing thoughts for you guys. Sphinxes together are the best team ever, but Sphinxes by themselves they're okay. Magic continues to bore me, so we don't really use it much here. And yeah, the Orc and Goblin list that my opponent was running, so many Scrap Wagons, so many Marauders, I'm sorry, not Marauders, Mangler Squigs, that he's rolling 5 random movement checks a turn. They're just going every which way, and it's hard for me to really deal with, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing inherently unbalanced about it. It's just something I have to keep in mind and try to out-deploy against. Let's see what else happened that was interesting in the game. Oh yeah, like I said, Magic just bores me. That crown plus banner combo really shuts down Magic phase, and it's only like I want to say 105 points or even less to get that off. Yeah, you can't bring Magic, but you can still bring bounce spells if you have them. So that's nice. It's just the best Magic setup currently, point for point, I'd argue. Divination and Shamanism are decent lores. I wouldn't say they're good lores, but they're decent. But Crown and the Crown and the Aether Banner are cheaper and better, in my opinion. Better because they're cheaper. Yeah, Miscast did more damage, I think, than my Magic did. Miscast to me did more damage to me than my Magic did to the enemy. And Iron Orcs, man, they are tough to get through, and if you're able to choose your weapons right, it's just there's not much you could do. They can counter anything. They're just so versatile, and yeah, my opponent played them very well. My opponent was super fun, and we had a fun game. Hey guys, I'm going to try to get more reports and try to keep it to 1 a week as I can. But sometimes life gets in the way. But please, thanks for watching. Subscribe, leave comments. Tell me what you really think and believe. Disagree with me, go ahead. Thanks.